An Insomniac on a Spider-Man game. Nice ass. In 5, 4, 3. Welcome back to Wayne's World. Wayne's World. Wayne's World.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Much Game. Welcome back to another podcast with Mike and Terry. We have some things to talk about E3. We just got done watching the Sony conference, and we are going to talk about some of the things that we also saw throughout the rest of the conference. But as far as I go, I only want to talk about Sony's conference because, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm the one that paid attention to the others for a few nerdy reasons. The first one, though, first thing I have to mention is EA had the first conference, and they pretty much did exactly what you would expect. Hey, do you guys like sports? Do you like sports games? Do you like sportsing in an interactive video game environment?
Ooh, cool. Did they talk about the new NHL?
Probably. I don't know. They talked about FIFA, which is probably their only good one anyway. Then they revealed new Mass Effect, kind of what you would expect. The only thing they really focused on was Battlefield 1, which is what anybody cared about in the first place.
Looks fucking amazing. My goodness. Do not get me started. Because I watched the trailer at least 6 times in a row, man. I did. I had to go back. You know that you've seen it. You know that part where they're dudes on the Jeep and they're shooting at each other and they run into the tank? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I could not handle that.
The part that got me was when they shot down the Zeppelin and they brought back the destructible environments of bad companies. Or the two bad companies, and the Zeppelin just destroyed multiple houses, and just fucking everything was blowing up. Bad company.
But it almost makes you wonder why they stopped doing that.
Well, they thought they were gonna do like dynamic environments or something like that with like Battlefield 3, where like this building might fall in the middle of the map. I don't give a fuck about that building.
Right.
You know what I can't do? I can't shoot through the window to get into the building. Why do I care? This is stupid.
I agree.
But yeah, so Battlefield 1 easily stole the E3 EA thing. It also stole a lot of Microsoft's. They did kind of... Actually, before I get to that, Bethesda's conference was after E3's. EA's fucking shit.
So, as a Bethesda conference, I assume that there's new Fallout content coming out that probably wasn't released before E3?
Yeah, well, there was this big rumor going around because some people got into the coding for Fallout 4 and they noticed that it said Nuka World. That's all it said in a little bit of code. And they were like, what's that?
How did they find this stuff, man?
Fucking nerds. But no, they found that, and it turns out that is going to be an expansion pack, is Nuka World. Sort of like Disneyland style. Fallout 4 meets Disneyland, basically, with a really creepy mascot. Which looks interesting. I'm going to have to wait to see if it actually has any substance beyond just being an amusement park. But it looks.
What do you mean by it's like an apocalyptic amusement park? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. It's not like it didn't look like an amusement park that got destroyed in the apocalypse. It looks like one they built afterwards, or maybe one that was kind of destroyed, but it looks newer than it should. So I'm thinking that they've been working on it.
Are we talking about like a potential small DLC for Fallout 4 then? Not like a large map?
I'm thinking that it's going to be a bit bigger, maybe have a story behind it. I'm hoping that that it's not just like a little extra fucking town or something. Because that would suck.
Like I said, I haven't seen it, so I don't know how to go about it. But that's cool. I mean, hey, I've already uninstalled Fallout 4 and don't have plans on installing it again.
Well, the thing that kind of goes along with that is they announced more expansions to what you can build. You can now build your own bunker or fallout shelter underground and shit. So if they can combine that sort of building element with the amusement park and be like, oh, you can build your own roller coasters or expand on them or like set up a vendor to run that shit and get you money, that would be amazing. Turn it into like a fucking what's it called, roller coaster tycoon or something like that, or sim amusement.
Let's not get that crazy, dude. Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm just throwing out. They didn't go into any details. I'm just saying what me and some of the guys from IGN thought.
One thing I want to ask is, how do you feel about Star Wars Battlefront 2? With the first one only coming out not that long ago, they're already talking about the second one. On, man.
They're already going down the bad road of Battlefield
of
4 and Hardline.
Yeah.
EA fucked up with Battlefield 4. EA fucked up with Battlefield Hardline. Stop doing this shit.
I
Battlefront,
loved Battlefront though.
I like it,
I
but it was not enough. It was not what you expected. You
It was
expected
not
it
enough
was not
compared
meaty
to what
enough. It seemed like an expansion as opposed to the full-fledged game. The first Battlefront had a lot more meat
right.
to it. Battlefront
Dude,
2,
are you kidding me? So did the original Battlefields, man. It's the thing about them
yeah.
stopping with this AI combat. If they don't bring back AI in Battlefield 1, I'll be so fucking pissed, dude. I'll be so fucking mad, dude.
Are you talking about bots?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were
Artificial
talking
AI.
I thought you were bitching about the AI and the campaigns and stuff, which is horrible.
No. I mean, no. I just mean for Battlefield alone. And, like, I think with Battlefront, when people played that back in the day, 90% of the people probably didn't have the internet back then to connect online. So
Yeah,
that game was
it
solely
was
a bot.
that was a huge LAN game.
Right. And Battlefield felt like a newer version, but it just felt like Battlefield slapped onto Star Wars. Or yeah,
It,
Battlefield slapped
it,
onto Star Wars. That's what I meant to
yeah,
say.
Battlefront was basically Battlefield 4 stripped of a lot of modes.
And it looks
With
good. I'll
with the
say
Star
that.
Wars, yeah, it's one of the best looking games of all time. But at the same time, it had
It,
no content to it. It's
it
fun,
looks
but
great.
for a $60 game, put some fucking content in there.
Hmm.
So I'm not interested in Battlefront 2, almost at all.
What else was kind of cool is I think that they're releasing Ark's Survival Evolved on the Xbox One. Don't know how to feel about that. I
The
mean,
second they mentioned that, I was like, "Yay! I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette while you talk about this game." I get it. A
well,
lot of people
it's
like
good to
it,
see it.
but
What I
it
like to see is
didn't interest
games
me at
that
all.
are PC exclusives eventually released on a Microsoft console. I like that. I
Well,
like that a lot
the
because that
more exciting thing though is the fact that there seems to be a wall destroyed between what is an Xbox One and PC exclusive, because every single game they announced, I'm pretty sure, is Xbox One and Windows 10 and
Mhm.
cross-platform play, at least in some capacity for a lot of them. So like,
Right.
I think Gears of War has cross-platform play and shit.
Really?
Yeah. And the second they
Wow.
announced that, I was like,
Not have thought that.
I wasn't
You
gonna
know?
watch Microsoft's conference. I was just awake and had nothing to do, so I watched it. I wasn't gonna watch it because I was like, I'm not going to buy the Xbox One. I purchased it. It pissed me off because of Halo, how they treated it. Not
Yeah,
gonna
but
buy
is
it
this
again.
new Xbox is this new Xbox One better than the Xbox One out now?
Yeah.
Is it just like the PS4? This is what scares me about everything
Except
I just
Xbox has
watched.
two new Xboxes.
Well, no. This is what scares me about this E3 with Sony is I feel like it's just going to be uh, all for the PS4.5, not necessarily all for just a PS4 that we all own now,
Well,
which is
no,
scary because I shouldn't have to rebuy a fucking PS4 to experience the games that I just watched.
no, because the thing that they had to basically make this a, I don't know if they made a deal or they just made this a general rule. The rule is there will not be a single game developed for PS4.5 or the or anything like that, or or Sony VR, whatever they're calling it. There will not
Mhm.
be a single game made for that is not fundamentally the same on the original PS4. And the same thing with the Xbox One S, and the Project Scorpio, as they're calling it. It's the same thing. Xbox One S is just a slimmer version of Xbox One with a little bit. They kept talking about HDR as if that's a selling point. That's pathetic, honestly. That's a selling point, but they have a thing called Project Scorpio that because they have VR as well, but they're working with Oculus. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
It's so funny because I feel like Oculus has kind of fell off the face of VR, dude. I haven't seen nothing from Oculus or
It's come
even
back in a
videos.
big way because John Carmack from id Software went over there and became a huge part of it. But another thing is
Oh
that,
shit!
yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah, here's the fucked up thing. So Bethesda had their conference, and the first game they talk about is Quake Champions. Holy shit, everybody went crazy, including myself.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah,
I
nobody.
love this whole Doom, Quake, Unreal Tournament's coming back,
Yeah,
dude.
nobody
Yes.
really expected that.
That's so awesome.
Ow! I just hit my knee. But
Did you just fucking sit on a dildo, dude?
no,
What the
no,
fuck is that?
I hit my knee on my keyboard. But here's the weird thing, though. John Carmack created all that stuff. That's what he's known for. And then the only time he shows up at this E3 is to show off the Oculus at the Microsoft conference playing Minecraft.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bit of a switch.
Super cool.
Minecraft's getting some updates too. Like dedicated servers are becoming the new big thing.
Oh, thank God. Finally, for people that play Minecraft, I cannot believe that they do not have dedicated servers. Like when I first played Minecraft on the PC, I was like, this is fucking insane. You almost have to know someone to even play with people.
Yeah, you have to have your own server. You have to pay for it. I'm not setting that shit up. But another thing is,
luckily there is the internet that can help you find servers with tons of people on it. But
yeah, but you want that kind of your world and your friend's world thing, which is going to become the reality. And not only that, that also has cross-platform play. They were playing it on a PC, an iPad, and a Surface Pro. And yes, they actually had a chick.
What?
They actually had a chick there playing Minecraft on the iPad at a Microsoft show, and she just said, "And I just earned an Xbox Live achievement on my iPad at a Microsoft show." And I was like, "Well, at least I'm not taking it as seriously as they did before. They used to get really uppity about that kind of shit."
I cannot believe that they're allowing crossplay like that. Like that, it kind of blows my mind.
Rocket League was the big thing. They mentioned Rocket League.
Somebody just died.
Yeah,
Did
that's
you
what it
hear
sounds. Yeah, it sounds like. It reminded me of when Romeo fell off your bed during your one late night playthrough.
Fuck you! Don't talk about that. Other games.
Skyrim.
I know
remaster.
you were talking about. Yeah, you were talking about that. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh, I was making fun of everyone who was so hyped about it. Like, I can't wait to get back into Skyrim. Oh my god, I'm gonna dedicate my life to it again. Get it on PS4 and Xbox One. And then I'm just sitting back as a PC gamer saying I could do that shit with mods for the most part. And
Right.
I was being a smart ass, but then they said after the show, they didn't mention this during the actual conference. They mentioned it after the show that the update is free for us PC gamers.
That I like that. I like that a lot. Like I really do. But the fact that, man, I really thought that they were gonna like announce a new kind of Skyrim, Oblivion type of game or something. Something new.
Some people were thinking that they might also announce like an
remaster?
Oblivion
Come on.
remaster or something like that, or Elder Scrolls 6 Hammerfell or something like that.
That would
Everybody
have
thinks
been
it's gonna be
so much
Hammerfell.
better, dude. That would have been so much better than just say, hey, we're just gonna remaster Skyrim, something that you guys have already beaten 400 times and spent hours upon hours upon hours playing.
Yeah.
Here, just go back into the world looking a
I
little
just started
bit better.
another playthrough on it. I'm going to put another 100 hours into it within the next few weeks. But I think
Now, what I'm asking,
I think the
are they
reason
gonna go
did
back?
that is because
Well, no.
What?
I'm asking you, like, are they going to go back and record all the dialogue? Are they going to go back and like fix glitches?
Just
and
a visual update.
Really?
Well, the glitches,
See,
yeah, the bugs and
that
stuff
is
like
so
that. But
weak,
it's
dude. I'm sorry. I think.
Did you see the difference in the graphics?
Well, yes, I saw the difference in the graphics, but they look great. But I mean, come on, really, another remaster?
It's pretty much the same thing they did, like that Naughty Dog did with Last of Us and Rockstar did with GTA. But
that's another thing I want to talk about with these remasters. Final Fantasy VII. I did not. Was that Final Fantasy VII?
That was Final Fantasy 15.
Never mind. I can't count the Roman numerals.
They showed it
ramen
on.
noodle.
They showed that at the Microsoft
I can't count the
conference
ramen
as well.
noodles.
They showed a lot more gameplay at the Microsoft conference, which was weird, but it looks pretty fucking good actually. Like I might actually get this one. It doesn't look like dog shit like some of the past ones have.
Right. Well, I didn't know if that was Final Fantasy VII because, like I said, I didn't even really pay attention to the trailer or what they showed at the E3 conference with Sony. But I saw enough, and I was like, "Is this Final Fantasy VII?" Like, no. I do not like how the combat is. But like I said, I didn't even pay attention that much.
No, Final Fantasy VII is probably still going to stay with the turn-based, and they're nowhere near done with that. I don't think.
No, they're releasing it episodic.
Yeah.
It's going to be episodic, so.
Which I still don't know how I feel about, but I'm going to give them a shot with it. It's not like it's my favorite Final Fantasy anyway. Once they bring back Final Fantasy 9, I'll pay more attention. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Fuck
so, as far as Microsoft's press conference goes, what was your favorite game that you're looking forward to come
out? As weird as it sounds...
If you say Forza, I'm going to kick your ass.
Forza's up there, mainly because I was so excited that they're finally bringing that to PC. But the thing is, even though it's just a Horizon, it's not the main game. Let's see. There's a game called We Happy Few that, as far as anything that was shown, They also showed Prey at the Bethesda concerts. Holy shit, I completely forgot to write this down. Prey.
Prey? Like the original Xbox 360 game Prey?
It's a reboot. They just abandoned that concept entirely. Dude, you need to watch the trailer
With
for it.
the aliens, right? And
Yeah,
the
the
Indian
aliens
guy.
and the Native Americans. Yeah.
Wow. Really?
This
That's
one
awesome.
looks nothing like it. It looks fucking. It's like a first person horror game almost. It looks fucking phenomenal.
Speaking of first person
So
horror games,
you're gonna
man,
check it out.
how thrown off were you with that Resident Evil trailer? I was not expecting that to be Resident Evil, I'll tell you
Well,
that.
I'll get to that in 1 second.
Am I surprised that they went with the first person horror game view? Not at all. Not at all. Not at all am I surprised
Well,
that way because no fixed camera angles were not going to work with a game that it worked for in 1998
Yeah, no,
or
none of that
whatever,
shit
you
would
know.
fix. But I don't know. Here's the
I
thing.
think they abandoned the third person camera because they're going to leave that to Resident Evil 4's greatness. They're just going to say
You mean
that
the
was our staple.
remaster of Resident Evil 4 that's going to come out again?
Right, so that's the staple, but now we're going to take a new direction and go first person horror. I think that that's a good direction to go with how good games do these days with being a horror game and in first person. I
Here's
think
the
it'll be
thing,
just
though.
fine.
Do you think it's going to stick to that, or was that just a tease?
No, it'll
Because-
stick to the first person view. I
because-
guarantee you it'll stick to the first person view.
But
The
you-
entire
you gotta
game
remember-
will be an Outlasty type of horror game, dude. That's
Yeah, you got to remember though, what they showed. They didn't show gameplay, did they? They showed.
walking around in first person. That was enough gameplay for me. I
Yeah.
mean, that's gameplay.
But I'm saying like when
Are you
Resident
talking as in weapons?
I'm talking
and-
as
and
in
items and
like any actual like gameplay. Because when they first showed Resident Evil 4, remember Resident Evil, they call it 4.5 now, but Resident Evil 4, the gameplay, the game style, everything about it changed between the first show off and the release. Everything was different. So do you
Right.
think they're going to stick? I think they should stick with first person, honestly, purely because Silent Hills proved you can take that old school formula and effectively transfer it, and that was Konami.
Right.
And Konami
That's scary
are
though
the
because
biggest
you don't
fuck-ups
know.
the past few years.
It wasn't Konami, dude. It was fucking Hideo Kojima and
I know, but it was under
who's the other guy?
Guillermo del Toro
Yes, okay.
and Norman Reedus.
Kept thinking like the director of Jaws for some reason.
Steven Spielberg? Yeah, it was Steven Spielberg.
yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on there.
But no,
But no.
I think they can pull it off.
Speaking
hopefully.
of,
I'm
we're gonna
hoping
get to
for it,
this
because
we're gonna
their
get to
only
this real
other
quick.
first-person Resident Evils were like what Survivor, and those were dog shit.
on-rail shooters type of games.
God,
Ridiculous as all hell.
They're
Dude, I
so
remember
bad.
Resident Evil Survival, dude. I remember getting that game, taking it home, and just being like, "This is not Resident Evil.
Yeah,
What
it
the
was.
fuck is this?"
My old stepbrother told me I should play it. He was like, "It's really hard." And I was like playing. I was like, It's not hard. It's just bad. I don't want to play.
You know,
that's the problem."
with all these horror games making a comeback and doing remasters and doing all these remakes, you know what I'm really surprised that wasn't announced at the C3, especially with Sony coming back with Crash fucking Bandicoot, especially in the horror genre. Could you imagine what a Dino Crisis remake would look like? Dude?
Oh.
Like how awesome that would look, dude. Like, are you serious?
I have a
Like,
feeling,
fuck zombies. Let's throw that out the window. Let's throw dinosaurs at these motherfuckers. Like raptors and T-Rexes and,
Well,
and
I
stuff
think
like that.
the nicest thing about this E3 was that it kind of showed that they were actually that they've been paying attention in some sense. So I think that,
Right.
for the most part, anyway.
I agree.
like talking about Destiny or Tom Clancy's
Destiny.
The Division and focusing on that at all. Yeah, but whatever.
Dude,
It showed
when I
that they're
first saw
focused on it
that
a
Call of
little
Duty
bit.
trailer, I thought that was like another Destiny game, or not Destiny, another.
Division.
You just said it, the Division. I thought that Call
I
of
did
Duty
too.
game
I
was
was
like the
confused.
Division, dude.
I was,
It was like another
made Call of
Division game. Are you serious?
Call of Duty 4 looks like the Division for some reason in the trailer that they
Mm-hmm.
showed. We got way off topic.
That's fine. We're talking about games, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about games. It's
Well,
all good.
Real quick, let's go back to the top of Sony though, because
Mhm.
they kicked it off with style that nobody else could match. Like there was about 3 straight minutes of an orchestra playing.
I know where you're going with this.
I tuned in, didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, "What the fuck is YouTube gaming streaming showing me right now? Is this like a pre-show? Did I click the wrong thing and I'm just watching a fucking orchestra practice right now? Then all of a sudden, fucking theater curtain goes up, screen goes on. You see a little kid talking to, "Hey, daddy, we're gonna go hunting." And then
I
all of a
have
sudden,
some things I want to
"Yeah,
say about
son.
this too.
Yeah, so we're gonna go hunting.
No,
Yeah." And then he
as
walks
soon
out.
as I heard that voice, dude, I already
I got
knew it was
suspicious when I
Kratos.
heard
Are
the
you
voice.
serious?
But the
Like,
second he
no, when
walked
that
out, I
voice
saw
came
the
on, that was
beard. I was like, Kratos. And then the second I saw the beard, I was like, and it's Norse mythology, bitches.
running around with them big old axes and shit. Now,
Although,
one thing I want to talk
got
about this
really
game.
confused.
Now, listen. Let's talk about this trailer. Let's talk. I want to kind of get in depth about this.
It wasn't a trailer, dude. He played it for like 10 minutes
It was
straight.
a gameplay trailer, but for E3, this is a trailer.
And he kind of
Either way,
sucked at it. He sucked. The guy
Now, check
playing it
this
was
out.
not good.
Now, I want you to think about this. Now, the trailer started out with the kid, right?
Showing the kid.
Slowly, you see Kratos, or whoever this is, might not even be Kratos.
No, it's Kratos.
Listen. Now, you play as him throughout this intro part, which I think will be the intro to the game. Now, I don't know if you noticed when the kid noticed the tracks, the deer tracks, that you got like a stat boost in noticing animal tracks, but who noticed those animal tracks was the kid.
Yeah.
Even when you shoot the deer with the bow,
You're aiming as the kid.
Right, and you get experience points
Yeah.
for this. So what I think is going to happen is I do not think you're playing as the guy you play as in the trailer. I think you're going to play as that kid. This is just the intro to the game.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is my theory is that, and
it's not Kratos.
I think this would,
I'll tell you that right now. That's not Kratos.
Well, no, I think that's meant to represent Kratos in that particular style. Maybe not named Kratos, but just in style. But I think it might switch it up instead of Kratos' son being killed. Like, Kratos is teaching his son. He dies, and his son grows up.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And that's where the revenge story starts off.
Exactly, because even when he came to stab the deer, he's like, I can't do it. Yeah. He's like, let me help you. And I'm like, oh, of course you're going to be playing as that kid.
It's like you're literally training your son to kill fucking trolls and to kill in general. To
what did you think about that troll battle? I got a lot of Dark Souls-y in there, dude, with the rolling and stuff, dude. Like, I was like, what is this, Dark Souls? God of War Dark Souls?
It looked what I wanted it to look like. Like, it didn't look all flashy. Like the first two God of Wars to me were a lot more flash than they were packing a punch. God of War 3 really nailed down that sort of meaty combat where like you feel the impact of the blades going in, and that's what this one seems to have as well. So I agree. Plus I mean, it showed a dragon at the end.
Right.
And if it's
where did that come from?
And if it's based in Norse mythology, that might mean a giant, like, I'm talking giant fucking wolf, like Titan-sized wolf, Titan-sized snake, all this sort of shit. And although one thing that got me, two things that got me. First off, his special move was still called Spartan Rage. Why? It's a little doesn't really fit. Maybe they'll change that.
Right, I guarantee you they will.
The other thing is when he threw his axe, I was like, oh, okay, so you can just pick up weapons or something like that. Then he called it back with lightning, and the bows were lightning. I'm like, are you Odin? Or some spin-off of Odin? Or Thor or something like that?
Wow.
Because...
No, I like that. I like that a lot. I didn't even think about that.
Because you're using lightning to bring back your axe and shit like that. Like, maybe it's a new character or spin-off based on Odin or Thor or something like that.
But not named Kratos. I don't think his name will be Kratos. I literally do not think that that's Kratos. I think this is they're starting a new, just like they did with the Greek mythology. They're now doing it with the Norse mythology. Like, it's just a new character played by the same guy, meant to represent the same kind of character as Kratos, but just not Kratos.
The same ideologies and shit, like the same concept.
Exactly. Right.
Which,
just not.
And I'll just put it this way: it looks way better than God of War Ascension ever fucking did. God of War Ascension.
Dude, God of War Ascension.
They should have just been focused on this one, because this
I
one
was so
I've been
mad
waiting for
the
since
lack
God of War 3.
With God of War Ascension, I was so mad at the lack of cutscenes in the game. It was just nothing but fucking gameplay. Like, even the cutscenes were short. Kratos never talked. Like, he had like 3 lines. Yeah, it seemed like.
And even though it's God of War and it's based on the combat, I like the stories of the games.
But
And
that game had a weak story to me. I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
it's just me.
well, this one seems to be
Light me
more,
up in the comments if you want.
a bit more character driven, sort of like the first three, which is exciting. But then they followed that up with and they had a live orchestra the entire time, which was beautiful. It was amazing.
It was awesome.
Like they
dude.
just flat out had the guy who composed the God of War music take a bow because everybody knows how important the music is to those games. And him and that orchestra played the music for the entire show. Like there wasn't audio from the games; it was the fucking orchestra. And I want a live orchestra playing for me when I play a God of War game or something that epic. But
right.
the next thing they showed, I don't know if you got on in the middle of this gameplay thing. I'm pretty sure Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's the one with the memories where he's talking with the girl made by the guys who made Heavy Rain and
No, that's
Prophecy.
That came after that. Horizon Zero
No,
Dawn.
I didn't see that one.
Oh.
I saw the dream one. Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn. I heard some people talking about it. Is it Zero Dawn? But it reminded me of like kind of like a mix between Odyssey to the West. I think that's what it's called, and the Tomb Raider remake or reboot. That's kind of what it reminded me of. I didn't get overly hyped for it because it's basically you're going through the woods or valleys and shit like that fighting robots, which is never that appealing. I don't like fighting robots a whole lot in games, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it. But it looked interesting at least. And then they immediately went to Last Guardian. I don't know if you've kept up on it.
Is that the one that's made by the Heavy Rain guys?
No, that's the one that's it's made by the Team Eco, who made Eco.
Oh, I didn't see that either.
And Shadow of the Colossus.
I came in kind of late, guys. It was like 15 minutes too late.
Oh no, the game
I
you're
probably
talking
missed
about
like
was
6
next. But have you played Shadow of the Colossus?
Of course.
It's made by those
Who the
guys.
fuck hasn't played that? Are you serious?
I actually haven't played it. But anyway, it's made by those guys.
What?
Shut up, I have it.
No way.
I have it. I've owned it for like 4 years. I haven't played it yet.
Are you fucking stupid?
I need to. Shut
Everybody
up.
light Mike up in the comments right now. I don't even care
Kill
what
me.
you say.
Yeah. I don't care.
If you want his address, send me a message on Facebook.
Terry
I'll be
doesn't
happy
know
to
my
give you his
address.
number.
I've moved. He doesn't know my address.
Shit. Right?
He would, but he won't drive 45 minutes to come over. Anyway.
I'll tell you one thing I watched that I'm excited about is the new South Park game, The Fractured Butthole. I love that.
Wait, really? I have not seen something about that. Was that an Ubisoft?
Are you serious?
I
no,
didn't watch
South
anything
Park,
about
the new one. It's called The Fractured Butthole.
I haven't seen anything
Butthole,
about
not
that.
butthole as in your butthole, butthole as in like, but I have this hole. You get it. But anyway, so check this out. In the trailer, basically, you remember the Stick of Truth, how they're playing like basically like a Lord of the Rings parody?
Yeah, they're LARPing the entire game.
Well, in the middle of this one, Butters comes out as like the superhero thing he does, and then they all start playing superheroes. So this one's superhero based. And it looks awesome, dude. Let me tell you, does it look funny as fuck? I cannot wait for it to come out.
It kind of reminds me of Costume Quest, if anything else, at this point.
Dude, you need to go watch the trailer when you have the chance, man. You're gonna laugh. I guarantee you're gonna be like, oh fuck yeah.
I'll go check it out. I didn't even realize that was a thing. But then again, I haven't beaten Stick of Truth yet, so.
They also talked about releasing a new Attack on Titan game. Wow, I did not expect that
What
at all.
trailers were you watching? Goddamn. I'm
Right,
watching conferences. You're watching the random ass trailers.
Well, no, they're coming out with an Attack on Titan game. I can tell you what, I did not expect an anime game to be announced at E3.
No, they
No,
do that sometimes.
there's mods of the game, but now there's an official Attack on Titan game coming out, which is really cool.
Hopefully, they don't screw
another
it up.
thing-
There's a
Right, I
huge chance, depending on the studio, they might screw it up.
Another thing Sony pushed real hard was their VR. I think a lot of their games, like at the end, was always, it's a VR too. Experience it in VR, which I want to talk about because
Although they
one
did, they were a lot more subtle than they were with like the PlayStation Move. I'll give them that. I'm really happy they didn't literally devote the entire fucking conference to, hey, look, motion controls we got on tail.
I want to talk about VR. I noticed in one of the trailers, I couldn't even tell you what it was now. There were so many, VR shits there at the end of every trailer. It's kind of hard for me to think about it. But All I remember is, and this is what scares me about the PlayStation VR, is in the trailer it showed them playing the VR, but they were like zooming into spots in the map. Like they would look at a
That
spot and then be able to click on the spot and get transported to the spot. That scares me for games like Resident Evil 7. I feel like I really hope that they give you the option to use the controller to walk around and look around. Don't fuck around and just do not make it point to point. Like, and that's what scares me about some of the PlayStation VR games is a lot of them are going to be playable off of VR controller, and then when you play them on VR, it's going to be more of a point to point.
yeah,
Look here, do
they're
this. Look here, do that.
they're gonna have to find the
Change your
balance between making it work on VR to where people don't get sick or think of it just they. What they need to do is treat VR like what it is, an enhanced viewing experience. Don't treat it as, you know, anything more than that, because the reason they fucked up with motion controls because they were like, no, it'll work just the same, it'll be just as great. And no, it split developers. The motion controls sucked in most games, and you just had pissed off audiences because some great games were broken and ultimately didn't
right.
get the time they deserved. Treat it like an
I
enhanced
agree.
viewing experience, not a substitute.
Right, and that's another thing that scares me about Batman VR. I'm really afraid that that's going to be one of those just look and go games. It's going to be like a point and click, but it's going to be a look and click.
Yeah, I hope they don't start just pulling that shit out of the air. Like
I
with
will
in the
say that I
beginning
was
with
upset
Oculus, it
about
made
that.
sense as demos made by two people, but don't
Exactly.
major
Right.
studios don't fucking do that.
Right. And it's just like Batman. I thought that we were getting a new Batman game, dude. I
I
was so
don't
fucking
I don't know
excited.
that we need one at this point. They should probably wait a little bit.
Dude, Batman Arkham Knight was fucking epic, okay? They can do it again. And I like the fact that, yeah, it talked about, oh, you want to be the Bat and you can never take off the mask. I liked how they threw the VR into the game. Like, oh, you want to wear Batman's mask? We'll play this game. And then it was just like, oh, Arkham VR. So it's going to be a remake of a Batman game in VR. Not that I'm saying that they shouldn't do some remakes in VR, but I'm telling you, if it's this point and fucking look shit, I'm going to
They
be
should
pissed.
they should actually fit the game to work with VR, not do this sides like don't
I
treat it like
would
a mobile game where there's like this fucking little spit like Resident Evil's on VR. No, it's not. I mean, Resident Evil's on mobile on iPhones. No, it's not. It's like one fucking mission and it sucks.
exactly.
Don't do that with the VR shit. Just
I think like what you said about
go
like
all in or
making people
not.
sick. I don't know if the PlayStation VR has head tracking, to where you can look around
It
and
does.
shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it does.
Hmm.
Oh, nice.
They all do.
Then it would be great if they could integrate the controller with that, but not give you the option to look around, because that's what's going to make people sick, is wanting to look around and not move their head
Yeah,
while
with some games they're
this
definitely
thing's
gonna
in their
have to
face.
like with Minecraft or something like that. Sure, it makes sense. Resident Evil does not
Mm.
make fucking sense because you're gonna have to run your ass off at some points with that. Make
I'm
it
not
just
saying
an
that they need
immersive
to
viewing
run.
experience.
Right, but I'm saying that like with games like that, if they make it to where you can also look around, it's just going to confuse players. If they just keep it strictly, if they give you the option to turn off that and strictly use your head as your your view of sight, that would be great. Obviously, you're gonna have to play it in a swivel chair, but
Like this.
yeah,
No, because even then I'll be swiveling around and I'll like just smash shit off my fucking desk and be like jumping and screaming and pissing myself because my
I can't
movie fell
wait,
on my
dude.
toe. I just want
So
them to treat it as an additional immersive experience as opposed
I
to
agree.
a
I agree.
necessity. Like
Right.
you
So you
have
still
to
want there to be a
go.
game with the controller without VR, but you also want that good VR experience to go along with it.
Yeah, they have to
You
treat.
don't want them to focus on one thing. Like you want them to focus on
I want
both
them to
things.
focus on keeping the game great and VR as a secondary thing, an additional,
Gotcha. Right.
not
I agree.
the whole
I
thing.
totally agree with
If they do that, I'm all for it. Go for it. Uh,
that.
don't do it like you did motion controls. That was a mistake, and
I
it
know
showed.
another thing that you had talked about with me was Dishonored 2.
Yeah,
I hated the first game. That game sucked.
they
That
showed it
game
off at
sucked.
the Bethesda
I hate it.
conference, and the first one was fun. I haven't beaten it. I need to go back and beat it actually. The second one looks a lot more interesting, and right off the bat, the main reason that I thought it looked more interesting is that you can either play as the main character from the first game this time or his daughter, and each person
Really?
you get different abilities. and the way it'll unfold is a bit different for each character, so it kind of gives you a reason to go back and experiment a little bit more. So that's what got me the most interested. But there was this one scene where they were showing you going through this dilapidated like hotel or something like that, and you had this little wrist thing. I forget what it's called, but it basically manipulates time. So if you look through the glass on the wrist thing, you can see what was. So you can see like, oh, it's a big manor and there's like guards. But if you take that down and you look at what you're seeing, there's nothing in there. It's abandoned. So you can like be like, okay, I'm getting right behind the guard. Now you teleport into that time stream and you kill the guard, and the time like flip back out back into the old one. I mean, just to the newer one to where everybody's gone anyway. So you're like infiltrating the past in a stealth game. It looked fucking amazing.
Wow, I'm gonna have to check that trailer out.
Yeah, that thing, them doing that right there sealed the deal. But at the very least, I'll be getting it when it's $20, possibly 40.
You cheap fucking bitch.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna get it after a year and a half after it's been out.
I'm saying it. I might pay full price for it. It's just at the moment, I'm saying at the very least, I'll buy it at 20. But it has the possibility of being bumped up to a full price purchase for me because it looks that good, and that developer does not fuck up.
Right. Now let's get into the vein of fighting games. A few fighting games were talked about at E3 across all platforms. The first one I want to talk about is Killer Instinct Season 3. What I like about this is it's I don't even know, was the new Killer Instinct on PC? I don't think it was either, man. I don't think it was, but this one's coming out for PC. This is what I like about what's going on.
They didn't put as much effort into making that a known thing. And plus, this one has cross-platform play again, I'm pretty sure. So,
well, right. And another thing I want to talk about with these fighting games that they released, it's so amazing to hear that these games are going to be out on PC for PC players, especially Tekken 7. That surprised me more than anything. I was like, wow, it's getting a PC release? What? Yeah, normally those are console-stricken games. Like
the entire theme of this E3 was like it was still very console focused like it always is, but they didn't leave PCs out in the cold like they normally do. Like there was an entire conference dedicated to PC gaming. And every single thing Xbox announced also coming to PC. I mean, you got Gears coming to PC again, finally, since the first for the first time since what, the first one? Forza coming, Halo Wars coming. Their biggest I guarantee the next Halo is going to be
Injustice 2.
Injustice 2, fucking Tekken 7.
Wow, did that game look amazing?
Yeah, but yeah, Tekken 7 to me was the biggest surprise as far as fighting games go because
they were supposed to be whooping your ass in that motherfucker. You already know you can't take me in Tekken.
No, because do you remember a few years ago when they came out with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and it was Street Fighter versus Tekken characters, but it was in the Street Fighter play style. And
right, yeah, no, the game was awesome. Yeah, I owned it for the Xbox 360.
And they were always supposed to make Tekken Cross Street Fighter, same thing, but in Tekken playstyle. And Tekken 7 seems to be what Tekken Cross Street Fighter was going to be because the gameplay in the trailer was Heihachi versus Akuma. And it seems that they've worked out how to mix Akuma's demon powers and throwing fireballs and shit into that world. They've slowed it down a bit so you can like get around it, and it just looks a lot more fluid as well. So it looks like a really good match, and I hope they do go for the full Tekken Cross Street Fighter thing this time and bring in more than just Akuma, because I would buy the fuck out of that. I might have to get I might have to get a full on joystick again with all the fighting games coming out. That I'm
Mad Catz make some pretty good joystick controllers.
They do
that much.
Their Tekken 6 joystick controller, I actually bought Tekken 6 just because it came with a joystick controller for like $60 on sale. So I bought that, and I used that thing for about 6 months every single day, just beating on it with Tekken 6 and Street Fighter 2, or Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix and Street Fighter 4 and shit.
One thing that actually really caught my eye, and I didn't actually think that it would, and I didn't even know what it was until the end of the video, and that was a new Call of Duty, man. Like, I was really blown away with that whole
here's the
space.
thing.
that whole spaceship blowing up thing, dude, like it blew my mind. Like I didn't know what I was watching until it was
It,
over, and I was like, "Wow, that's Call of Duty! Like that's cool." Call of Duties have always had spectacular campaigns, no matter what you want to say. Their campaigns are always really action packed,
they're always like Michael Bay
tightly
movies.
right, tightly done. They're super good. I
I
won't
always
doubt
I've
it.
always loved the campaigns,
I
and every
just
single
really
one of
wish
them.
Call of Duty wouldn't just fall on the multiplayer aspect of the fucking game. It makes me so fucking mad
Yeah, because
because that's what
that's
everybody judges. Everybody judges the goddamn campaign. Even fucking Call of Duty Ghost had a good campaign, just a shitty fucking online.
yeah. The thing that got me though was that the first thing they showed you, they're harping so much on the fact that you're getting the Modern Warfare re-release or remaster with this, which just makes me
Yeah.
think, why would I play Infinity Warfare when I can play Modern Warfare? Or are they going to do what the
The one
Halo?
everybody wants to play.
Yeah, or are they going to do what some companies have done, like Halo ODST when that launched? It was a completely different campaign. It didn't have Master Chief or Spartans in it, but the multiplayer was just Halo 4's multiplayer or Halo 3's multiplayer. So are they going to fuck people over and have you do Modern Warfare's campaign, but it's Infinity Warfare's multiplayer only? Because that would piss people off. Because I'm more interested
Right.
in the Modern Warfare because I mean, Infinity Warfare, Advanced Warfare, and Black Ops 3, I like the advances, the jetpacks, and all that stuff, but I like the simplicity of Modern Warfare. Going back
I feel
to
you.
that, no one's flying around, just the simplicity. I think that works
Right.
better for a game where you die so goddamn fast.
I hear you on that one.
If you're gonna die in a
Um,
shot or two, don't be flying around.
Speaking of dying fast, what do you think about this Noah game coming out? The Japanese Dark Soulsy game. That's
Not
supposed
seen
to
that
be.
one.
It's only on PS4. What do you mean you haven't seen it? How the
Haven't.
fuck have you not seen it? It think of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, but in a samurai Japanese setting.
That
How
sounds
have you
amazing. Did they show that at the
how have
conference?
you not seen that? No, the trailer in the game has been out for at least a couple months. I think they had an open beta test
I haven't
too,
seen it.
which I missed out on. But no, they talked about it at E3, and it looks great, man. It does. I mean, think about it.
I mean, I'm already
Samurais.
interested because I love samurais
Yeah,
and
exactly. Me too.
feudal Japan.
Dude, speaking of samurais, another game that I want to talk about that I got so excited for.
Scalebound?
Motherfucking Spider-Man PS4, dude.
What is that?
When I saw him, just shut the fuck up and let this happen. When I saw him swinging through those streets, I was like, "Is this real life? Like, there's no way that the
I
game is
was
gonna look that good."
I was
There's
really
no
nervous because the last Spider-Man game was what
Oh
Amazing Spider-Man 2, and that was an embarrassment to
no, the fuck it
the
was not
entire
compared to what.
industry.
No, what? No, it was not compared to what they released before that. Okay, that game for what it was. Thank God it was a Spider-Man game that you could free roam in an entire city. Yeah, it wasn't the best Spider-Man game ever. Of course not. Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 2 is the best Spider-Man game ever made and probably will be. And I can guarantee you it'll still be better than this new one. But
I completely disagree.
no, this new one straight smashed some shit, dude. I was just like, oh my God. There's no way that the graphics look that good during gameplay. There's
They
just no way.
they do. Here's the thing that's always been Spider-Man's biggest issue is no matter what, the best ones aside from Spider-Man 2, that was an anomaly, were the ones that weren't based on movies like Amazing Spider-Man or Ultimate Spider-Man. And then you had the Amazing Spider-Man, and they're just being made as rushed pieces of shit for the movies.
Exactly. I agree.
So the fact that Insomniac of all developers are working on this, Insomniac, I don't know. I don't know that I can think of a single better developer to work on this fucking game. I just don't.
Uh, Speaking of developers and games, man, oh my God, what did you
Oh,
think
I know
about
what you're gonna.
Hideo Kojima coming out, dude,
No,
with
hold
the
on.
Norman Reedus thing, dude? I bet
No,
Konami was pissed. They're
fucking
just like, you motherfucker.
that entire thing seemed like a fuck you to Konami too.
It did too, and I don't know
The
what they were
second,
talking about. Like, what
the
game is
second,
this, dude?
the second
This
Norman
isn't even.
Reedus showed up,
Oh yeah,
I
dude.
was like,
He like had a baby, and I was just like,
yeah.
what?
He showed up, and the second he did, I was like, so what happened? Basically, to me, seems like Konami canceled Silent Hills. Seems to me like Norman Reedus was like, all right, Kojima, fuck them. Let's make our own thing then. That's
Right,
what
but
it
Del
seems.
Toro is not a part of it. I looked in the
Sadly.
credits, and he's nowhere to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Which to me doesn't ruin anything. I think
He would have
Kojima
been
and
he would have been better for a
I think
Silent Hills game, but just Kojima being
that,
back in his thing,
that
not working on Metal Gear Solid for thank fuck.
fuck you. Anyway,
That
I love
series,
Metal Gear.
yeah, but it went too far.
Fuck you, dude. Shut the
Um,
fuck up.
but no, here's the thing. I need to set this up for when exactly how we experienced this trailer because me and Terry were on the phone because he called me because they had just shown that they are remastering and bringing back Crash Bandicoot 1 through 3 for the PS4.
Don't even get me started, dude.
The
I'll tell
second
you
the
one
announcer,
YouTuber that I can. No, I'll tell you one YouTuber right now that tripped, dude, and I guarantee you that was Kadikarus, dude, because that dude is a fucking Crash Bandicoot freak. I guarantee you that dude was naked as soon as he saw the shadow.
good to know.
He's just naked. He's just like, I'm getting naked because I don't know what else to do.
Like you watching the Lizzie McGuire movie. Anyway, but no, the second the announcer came out and his little shadow, I was like, that shadow looks familiar. And then the shadow spun, and some round things came flying at him. I was like, those look like apples. This is fucking Crash. This is Crash Bandicoot.
It took you that long to realize that, dude? I mean, from the shadow alone, you just saw Crash.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to assume that and just get my hopes up and be like, oh, it's probably some stupid fucking Skylanders bullshit, which it was on one end. But the first thing that
I got pissed at that.
The first thing that I hyped on was Crash 1 through 3 remastered. I was like, and not
They're
just
like,
remastered.
yeah,
It's
we're
not just,
remastering these.
it's not just an
They're-
HD update. It's a full. Didn't they say from the ground up remaster?
Yep.
So it's
for the
full
PS4.
on. You're gonna be able to see the ass hairs on Crash Bandicoot's ass.
Ass?
Yeah.
No, what that pissed me off though. They're like, okay, so we're gonna be remaking Crash 1, 2, and Warped. Here's some Skylander shit before we show you that though. I was just like, really, bitch?
Yeah.
Okay, fuck it.
Thanks-
I'm gonna go
thanks for
smoke a
that,
cigarette now,
But-
just like you did.
But the second that ended, you just see a little dude come out in the light, and Terry was like, "Holy shit, that's Kojima!" And then he hung up.
I pretty
Hung
much
up on
did. I was like, I gotta go, dude.
I gotta go. Click. And
What I'm
then-
really interested in about this Kojima game is like, what kind of game is this, man? Like, I did not know what to take from that. Like, there's the baby, the handprints, the dead animals and whales. I was just like, what?
I didn't either.
The four people in the sky as he looked at them, like, what was that, dude? Like,
I have no idea, but it makes me so much more excited because I genuinely I like seeing things like that from big developers because it means that they are interested in. First off, it's a creative trailer, and they're interested in still giving surprises. I like that. But it was kind
I
of
like how
weird that their
Kojima came out
trailer
and
was
speak
more
English,
confusing.
and he's just like, "Fuck you, Konami. I'm back. Here's
Yeah,
my new game."
his first thing was
check
like,
this out.
I'm back. I was like, damn right you are, man.
I like his Kojima. I like the Kojima production logo too. I
Yeah.
like that.
But one thing it did strike me as odd though is that their trailer was more more confusing than the Quantum Dream trailer. Just
Oh my god.
that developer as a whole. Whenever you see a trailer from them, you should never pretend to know what to expect because it's always fucking confusing and it tends to be kind of different when you play it. Like Indigo Prophecy, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. Beyond Two Souls sucked, but aside from that,
I never played
pretty
that.
good. It sucked. They had Ellen Page, but it sucked. But this new one, Detroit Become Human, like
That's the one I was talking about.
they showed
earlier.
it off perfect. Like I thought it was just gonna be like them hyping it up like your choices affect the game outcome. No, they showed like 17 different ways to do this one little fucking thing and how
I
these
love that,
little
too.
bitty choices like do you take the gun from under that desk from earlier? All right, now
Yep.
do you tell him you have it or no? Do you pretend not to have it and try and intimidate him? Do you just fucking shoot him?
Yeah,
like,
I love
Do
that,
you
dude.
tell the helicopter to fly by or not? Like
Mm-hmm.
do you tackle him and save the kid and like tackle him and kill yourself with him? Like that was the perfect way to show off the game, and that was Sony's entire thing was let the game speak for themselves. Like they had like 2 announcers, and they didn't even really announce anything. aside from
That's
Crash
awesome.
Bandicoot.
I know that was sweet. Uh, let's take a break real quick. How far are we in the podcast? Like, as far as time, because I feel like we've got at least an hour.
Well, it says an hour and 17 minutes, but we didn't start recording until like 20 something into it. We've got almost an hour.
Okay, well, I can't be talking too much louder. My brother just told me to try and quiet it down. So,
All right. Well, we can.
you just want to end this? I think we talked about a lot of good things. I really do. We had a lot of good conversation here.
Yeah, one thing real quick though is.
Just remember, you got about 18 minutes in is where Sarah joins the call, and then
Oh, I
at the
know.
end, was it switching on you?
A little bit. I'll fix it though.
I'm sorry.
Two.
She wanted to hear it, and I was
Yeah.
just like, you can't. I'm sorry.
Two quick things because you said that the Days Gone by, or Days Gone, got you hyped.
Wow.
So Days Gone.
Are you kidding
And
me? I
then-
forgot about that,
And
dude.
then just touching
Are
on
you-
Nintendo.
How many times can some zombies run out a door like that, dude? Like,
Well,
that
hold on,
was
you
some
said let's
World
take
War
breaks,
Z
so-
zombies.
All right, so you said take a break, so let's come back with. All right, we're back. Something else we got to touch on real quick because Sony ended their conference with not with Kingdom Hearts, which is what I was hoping for. Fuck Square.
Fuck the game.
Fuck you. But they
Just
ended
kidding.
it with a game called Days Gone, which they previewed with the trailer at the beginning of the show, and then they showed actual gameplay at the end of the show. I didn't know what to make of it at first, but then the second I saw the gameplay, it reminded me of a bit of The Last of Us. Like, it's a post-apocalyptic game, but it seems to be character-driven like The Last of Us.
Dude, that horde of zombies coming at that dude was
Yeah.
so fucking awesome, dude. And then to see him at the end of the trailer, and it's just like they're coming from all angles, and he's just like, "Come on, motherfuckers!" And I was
Yeah.
just like, "What?"
And it has, like, a sad backstory as well. I don't know if you saw the trailer at the beginning of the show, but he was talking about how he was talking about all the things he missed before the apocalypse happened, basically. Like, I miss the smell of your hair, and it shows him riding with his girlfriend on his motorcycle and shit. And talking about, I'll never have that again, and blah, 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 so I gotta move on. And then it showed him, seems very character-driven like The Last of Us, but very action-y in the same vein as, like, not so much Dead Rising, but, like,
How was that
Daisy
trailer?
of Daisy was entertaining. And
Well,
then
fuck
a little bit of Walking Dead sprinkled in. I don't know. It looks really good. I just hope it doesn't come out shit like so many post-apocalyptic games tend to do now. You said something about Dead Rising?
Yeah, how was that trailer, by the way? As far as Dead Rising, I'm not a
It
fan of
was-
any of the games, really. I've never really played any of them. But it's always interesting when they release a new trailer because they always make it look really fun.
Well, Dead Rising 3, the trailer bored me and the game looked like shit. Dead Rising 4, though, was confusing because when it first started, you just hear Christmas music. You're like, okay, what the fuck?
Right.
Okay, this is Dead Rising. And it's back to fashioning weapons and shit like that. So he's shooting like sharpened candy canes into like the fucking heads of zombies and shit like that. He's like mowing around and he's like, what a swell time, a jingle bell time. You're just like mowing down zombies. It looked fucking awesome. I genuinely think this might be their return to form and a much better game than the third one. Third one was just a big letdown.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, hell, man. E3 has been interesting so far. So many good games have been announced.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think it was going to be as good as it has been.
I think this the best E3 has been in a long time. Although one
and,
caveat.
Well, with features and VR and you know, just games
they're focusing
themselves
on the
that they're
right
releasing.
things too. They're focusing on the games
Exactly.
themselves. They're not focusing on, hey, we have a new console, but we're kind of just going to mention that, and here's a bunch of games.
Right. And like you said earlier, that you seem like they're starting to listen to what people want,
Yeah,
not necessarily something they think that they're going to make money off of.
yeah. They've definitely moved past the whole the travesty of the motion control years.
Exactly. Thank
Those
God.
E3s all sucked. But
I'm interested to see Nintendo's E3 about Zelda. I am super interested.
That's the thing. That's the thing I want to mention. Apparently, they are not doing a conference at all. Wait, come back. Come back. They're still doing something.
Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed our thoughts on some of the games that are coming out. There's so many good games. There's some games that obviously that we didn't talk about. Mike is thinking about doing a more in-depth review where it's just him being his smart self and talking about some of the games that he's excited for. He has a way with being able to go in depth with things.
There's
so
about
look forward to
10,
that if he's playing.
There's about 10 to 15 games that I didn't mention on here because Terry didn't get to see all the conferences. So
Yeah, right.
there's a few from the conferences that I left out that I don't. Some of them Terry wouldn't even like anyway. But
Right. So yeah, we just decided to get together and talk about some of the things that we saw or some of the games that we knew about. Mike introduced me to some of the games that I'm about to go watch.
Sea Thieves.
I think we had some
We didn't
interesting
talk about it, but
conversation.
Sea Thieves. You gotta check that out.
But yeah, we hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. Made your night a little easier, a little listening infomercial power for your boys.
Is that ASMR tickling your cochlear?
But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. We really hope you enjoyed this podcast and you guys have stuck with us through the whole thing. A lot of good games coming out. We're excited. I hope you guys are excited. You're going to be broke just like we will be.
Yeah. Leave a comment
Tons of
telling
games.
us what illegal activities you are going to have to be doing, or at least willing to do, to afford the massive amount of fucking games coming out. Because
Yes.
we're not millionaires. We're going to have to do something illegal. Give us tips. You know?
There you go. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. You will
Just-
see me and Mike in the next podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Sanians. Look at my pin.
Okay.